half an hour, there's comedy among the friars of a Carmelite priory in Kicking the Habit. But now BBC Radio 4 follows 18 months in the life of an 11-year-old boy as he struggles with chronic illness. The recordings were made by his mother, Jane, a BBC producer, and his Radio 4 reporter father, Mike. Leo, Rusty and Emmy.
The first violin's Rusty, like all tired and slow, and then another violin comes and saws and cuts across it, and that's me, Leo.
He didn't look well. I mean, he looked pale, thin, generally unwell, I'd say. The first thing I remember about Leo is that he was half asleep. Even when he woke up, it was only for brief moments, so you had the impression of speaking to somebody who'd been woken in the middle of the night, as it were, and he could only stay awake for short periods of time, and then he would doze off. Or he looked as if he was dozing off. He was certainly not paying much attention.
Dr. Kramer, who's a psychiatrist, thought I should come up with a name for my body.
It occurred to me that this was an opportunity to distance Leo from his symptom, and so since the symptom occupied his whole body, the body would have to have a name separate from the occupant of it. He chose the name Rusty, which is really very comical.
I chose the name Rusty because my body feels, well, to be frank, rusty. Say I have a stomachache or achy bones, that's Rusty's problem, and I'm Leo. I like to think that they're separate things.
Hello. Hello, darling. How are you feeling?
Not good, I'm afraid.
Get that down, yeah. It's a good boy. I know, it's horrible, isn't it? It's nodding.
It's Sunday morning. Said I will feel better, but I feel worse.
How's Rusty?
Unfaithful.
It's hard because probably my memories of how things started with Leo are very different from Mike's. How I remember it was Leo having a bog-standard chest infection. He had a nasty flu-type virus with a temperature that went to his chest and was clearly unwell for about 3 days and then appeared to be coming round from that. And we took him out to see a Harry Potter movie. And what I remember vividly is at the end of the movie the lights went up and Leo was sort of sitting there, looked at me with this little croaky voice and said, "Mum, nothing works. I can't move." We'd just been watching this kids' movie with these weird creatures, the Dementors, who are evil beings that just swoop over somebody and suck the innards out of their victim. And it was almost as if like the Dementors had swooped over him and scooped him out.
Leo, I've got another idea for a course.
I used to think with friends, oh, what should we do to entertain ourselves? But now it's like, what can I do to get us through the day?
Was this croaky voice?
Yes, with this
gravelly whisper just carried on and on and on.
Because every day is like a struggle and you have to get through it.
How
curve out to be clearer lines through here.
And then we noticed that Leo was
Leo, please go away.
getting up much later in the morning, and he used to always be the first up in the family. And then when he did get up, he'd be up for about an hour or two, and then you'd wonder where he'd gone, and you'd find he was in bed asleep.
And as the days turned into weeks, he was losing weight very, very rapidly because he found eating and swallowing physically very, very difficult. The one thing they kept testing him for was glandular fever. All those tests came back negative, and he didn't get any better. And then we were scooped up, if you like, by a consultant paediatrician called Dr. Robbins, who diagnosed it confidently as a post-viral illness and determinedly said that we will monitor Leo and care for Leo and treat Leo until he's better, and that for me was a turning point.
Now, I think when we first met Leo, it was towards the end of January, and it clearly was something that probably happened after a viral illness. So post-viral syndrome, post-viral fatigue seemed to be a quite acceptable tag to put on Leo at the end of January. And clearly, before Easter, in the middle of April, he hit the 3-month mark and was still fatigued. So chronic fatigue was an okay diagnosis then.
It's the night before my birthday. I'd like to be feeling incredibly excited, but I'm not. I'm actually dreading my birthday tomorrow, to be honest.
There are also almost certainly physical and genetic and metabolic and endocrinological and immunological factors which almost certainly are part of your makeup, your inheritance, that you perhaps might be more susceptible to this. So I think there probably is some hard biology to stick to it, although it's not completely understood.
Happy birthday to that lovely boy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's my birthday. And it's late. At the beginning of the day, it was good. My stomach woke me up. But I went downstairs and flung the door open, and it was nice because there were balloons and everything.
Next present.
Next present, we've moved on.
Blue one?
Blue one?
Good presents.
No, it doesn't say, but that should say with love from Mum and Dad.
Oh, Mum and Dad. It's going to be so hard opening this one.
Birthday to you.
I always sang happy birthday with my birthday cake, and then I went to sleep. And that was it. I mean, it was good, but it was... Well, I'm proud of what I did. But I've never felt more tired, ever.
Right. Okay, Leo. Ready?
When I go to the hospital, I see two doctors. One is a body doctor called Dr. Robbins, who looks at the more physical side of these things, and one is Dr. Kramer, who is a mental doctor, a psychiatrist.
You said, I'm being quite serious, you said you would like to see the back of doctors, but actually would you? Would you? Or can you imagine being all right and not having to have meetings like this?
I'm not sure, actually.
No, I think that's a very honest answer. Good for you. Because I think growing up is really scary for you. And you look all sort of fetal, sort of without any muscles at all. When you become an adolescent, you get all muscular and you stay away.
What's an adolescent?
Oh, for goodness sake, Leo. When a boy with a high vocabulary like that, what do you think?
A teenager?
Yeah.
Dr. Kramer's technique is to kind of shock me into saying interesting things.
You know, I sort of nag you a bit to sort of wake up, don't I? That's what I feel like. I'm a bit of a bully too, sort of trying to make you think and remember and wake up. But I do see how frustrating it is for you not to be able to do much. But you feel terrible.
Yeah, in a way.
Tell me about it.
I'd rather not.
I'd rather you did. No, I think, you know, I take it very seriously. I sound as if I'm joking, but I'm not. But I think this is pretty terrible.
The way that our practice has evolved is acknowledging the fact that what's going on with the body and what's going on with the mind are never too far apart. 13th of February 2006, I'd just seen Leo with Dr. Sebastian Kramer along with his mum and sister Holly. Objectively, Leo's weight's down, which is a concern, despite the nutritional supplements. He's not been able to complete his meals or his walks around the house, the so-called Robin's walks.
Hi, it's Thursday and I'm lying in bed with Mog. Mog is short for Moggy, my pussycat, and I'm tickling her tummy and they're sitting on the bed. I'm about to go to the hospital to see the dietitian. Bye-bye, Moggy.
We're just going to weigh him and then we'll compare it to his height and make sure that both are going up. That's it, empty the pockets, we don't want those extra pounds. My name is Orla Stone and I'm one of the specialist paediatric dietitians at the Whittington Hospital. 41.5 kilos, 163.6 centimetres. As the consultations were going on, Leo's weight was gradually going down. Seemed to be losing a lot of interest in food and was seeing food as a major battle. So I then raised as an option the idea of peg feeding, and that's percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy, so it's PEG feeding. With peg feeding, you have a little tube that's attached into the stomach, and then you have a pump, and you press go, and then depending what rate of feeding, it can go in from anything from basically 5 mils an hour, I think up to a maximum of 600 mils an hour. Eating while you sleep.
When she suggested having that tube, I was a bit shocked and a bit scared. From what I understand, the feeding tube goes...
Leo took on the idea of peg feeding but realised that he didn't want that option. So in kind of the opposite way, it has prompted him to start eating more.
And you are not only taller but heavier.
Cool.
You are 300 grams more and half a millimetre more. That's excellent.
Hi, Leo.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Okay.
It's now May. It's 2006. Leo hasn't been able to go to school for over 6 months.
We're just going to get on and do our thing and just let it do whatever it has to do.
I realised at the outset that I had muddled schooling with education.
You did that yesterday.
And the council have been able to provide fantastic home tutors who have been coming to the house,
Or we could take some pictures.
patiently trying to engage his imagination.
We could super glue it together because I actually see it as something we could really use.
I just want to see him have the courage to turn the page in a book and find out what happens next. That's where we're at. Right, you've got to ask me some questions now.
Okay, bub. What would be your favourite wheelchair colour?
What, for you or for me?
Both. One for you and one for me.
For you, I can see why you'd like
What,
some.
no, but
or
what would you
racing
like
green.
me to have?
I suppose it depends on the model.
Today I went to the wheelchair assessment place in the hospital. I had a choice of either one with small wheels or one with big wheels so you can push it around. I chose one with big wheels. I don't see much of a point with the ones with small wheels because you can only be pushed around in them. And I felt excited.
I mean, this is weird for me to be talking about this, Leo, because I never imagined that your first set of wheels would be quite like this. From when you were a baby, you know, I sort of thought how much you loved cars, and I thought one of these days he's going to get himself a set of wheels.
Yeah.
But I didn't imagine it would be a wheelchair. I feel a bit freaked out by that.
Can you just choose a colour, please?
Oh, pink.
I hope I said I'd like a silver, because I would, but the one I went in was jet black. It's quite nice anyway, but I'd like a silver one because I like silver. It's cool having a silver one.
It's the 1st of September, and we're going out to Derbyshire. Not specifically just to go and test a wheelchair, but I thought countryside might be good for seeing how fast a wheelchair can go down a hill.
Okay, Holly, I want you to push me down that hill. Okay, now just run, and then let go. Do you think I should put turbo boost on my wheelchair?
I think you ought to have rocket boosters on your wheelchair.
So do I, actually.
We can't customise it too much because we've got to give it back when you get better.
Run, 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 let go! Run, let go! Oh, God, not stinging nettles, not the stinging nettles. I don't like crashing.
The heroism is really in the child because they do have to put up with periodic hopelessness. There's no question about it. And despair. You know, this will never get better.
We're going into a road, into a junction, in a wheelchair. I just missed the stinging nettle. Whoa, cool. I'm gonna crash. Whoa. Ah. Ow, my back. Okay, we just crashed into some grass.
Look at you.
Where's the microphone?
What do you think of your new wheelchair, Leo?
I hate it.
I'm walking down the garden looking for Hollyella. I've found something in Leo's sister's bedroom, which is interesting. It's some notes she's made, and I'm going to ask her about them. Hello, darling. Been on the swing?
Mm-hmm.
I'll come down, Hollyella, because I found these notes, and I wondered if you could tell me about them and perhaps read them out to me, because I think they're very interesting.
I feel traumatised with a 12-year-old brother with ME. Sometimes I'm lonely because Leo's asleep or too tired to play with me. I hate watching him have his nutrition drinks. He hates it a lot because he finds it hard to swallow. I suppose his life is really mean. He's stressed, and I am too. Makes me feel devastated.
Live news, live sport.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
It's 10 o'clock exactly. Good morning, it's Victoria Derbyshire on 5 Live. Tuesday morning, welcome to the programme. Do you suffer from ME? It's thought that around 1 in 250 people are affected by it at some point in their lives. And the latest research today suggests that 55,000 people in Britain are so severely affected by the illness that they don't leave their home nor their bed.
It's autumn again. And it's dark. And it's been nearly a year since Leo got sick. And I'm finding it really hard. He actually seems all right today. I can hear him laughing downstairs with his dad. I think they're watching some late-night comedy, and that's good. But there's precious little that I can say that in the last 12 months has been an improvement.
We just can't sit by and watch this continue without anything being done. And just to pick up on your point about severity, Victoria, I think what people don't realise is that people die with ME. I'm in contact with 2 parents whose children have died in the last year, and I'm living in fear that this could happen to me.
I found it so hard because today the only thing that he managed to do was wash his hair. And I should have been delighted, because it needed a wash. My God, it needed a wash. But I thought, is that it? After 1 year, is that the sum total of expectation of what Leo can achieve? And it was so hard, because he was being interviewed by his sister for a school project, and she asked him what his hobbies were, and he said something about how he used to be good at art. And he said, I can't do that anymore. Rubbish. And he used to be so good at art. Where's that all gone? I suppose creativity, it just needs energy as much as going to the shops, and hell of a lot more energy than washing your hair. So I've shut myself away up here because I'm so sad, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what more we can do.
Hello, Leo. I'm Curtis, and I want to know if you've noticed any changes that I've made other than what I'm wearing. Last time you came, your hair wasn't tucked behind your...
I have a friend called Curtis. He has ME, and that's kind of how we got to know each other. He's a good friend, and he tends to come around to see me and just play games. You're more energetic. As in you, Curtis.
And would you like to be more like that?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take that as a yes.
No, as a yes.
Okay, would you like to know how to do that?
Yeah, I don't really care if I know how to be energetic, just as long as I am.
So, are you saying you want to be more energetic?
Yes.
He said yes if you didn't quite catch that.
Make it snappy. Go on.
Well, basically it's called the lightning process.
Ah, is it painful?
No, you don't get struck by lightning. It's called the lightning process because it's so quick. And basically...
Leo is quite excited at the moment because his friend, Curtis, is telling him about this new therapy, sort of in the area of neuro-linguistic programming, and Leo is now very keen to give this a go.
So, are you feeling better?
I am most indeedy feeling better.
Most indeedy.
Mike and I have tended to shy away from alternative remedies and gone to conferences and read papers.
But, as you can see with ME...
But this is something different. This seems to be a kind of management tool that patients learn themselves, and Leo's very, very keen.
Well, would you really, really want to get better?
Oh, yeah.
So I think I'm going to ask his consultant paediatrician what he thinks.
The lightning process is something I've only really read about on the internet, and I've talked to one individual who's been greatly helped.
You're coming, Leo! Okay, how are you feeling?
Bit flushed, rushed.
Bit flushed and rushed.
So far as I can see, it's about reinforcing a positive thinking. But I think it needs to be done when the individual and those around them feel ready to have a go at it.
As you can hear, we're in the car.
And certainly the fact that Leo's now enthusiastic about it, I think, is a positive sign, and I think it's definitely worth a go.
Look, Mum.
Yeah?
A squirrel.
Where?
Going up the tree.
Hello. Hello, Simon.
A purple shirt today.
Plum. I'd go for. Anyway, how was your journey? Was it?
Well, setting off 15 minutes earlier only meant we spent 15 minutes sitting.
So, welcome to Day 2 of the Lightning Process.
Thank you.
Today, let's just tell you about the structure of today. What we're going to do is identify where you are in terms of your training. Well done, because it's a trick question and you've given the right answer. So currently
I feel very tired. I don't know how I'm going to cope.
You know, I've had ME. I know it's a very real physical condition. Yeah, it's been really interesting, Leo, because I've had to think about how to tailor it to someone who is younger than most of the people who come. So that's been very nice. It's been an enjoyable experience. So thanks.
We seem to be in the garden, fella. Why are we in the garden? In the rain, in the middle of the night?
Because I'm here to play football.
You're going to play football in the garden, in the middle of the night.
That doesn't matter. Now, if you practice penalties, you can't see if you miss in the dark.
We could put the lights on. We've got some lights here. Oh, I keep treading on
I
snails.
feel much better. Hopefully I won't just go crash and then never feel better again, but yes, I feel much better.
There's a ball.
Ah, yeah.
It's so long since you've played football, Leo. I don't know where the ball is.
We're now playing spot the ball in the dark.
I think we should leave the wheelchair in the middle of the street or something.
Why do you want to abandon it in the middle of the street?
Because I want to leave it, get all the ME and put it on a wheelchair and strap it to it and just leave it somewhere and never see it again, hopefully.
You're going to get all your ME and put it in the wheelchair?
Yeah.
Leave it in the middle of the street?
Yes.
Wow, that's an incredible change, really. Sort of thing I never thought I'd hear you say.
It's magical.
It's magical. Can we go in now? Run away! Run away!
That was good enough for me.
Leo, Rusty and M.E. was recorded by Jane Ray and produced by Simon Elms. And if you've been affected by any of the issues in this programme and would like to speak to someone about the many and varied sources of information and advice for people with myalgic encephalomyelitis, then please call the Radio 4 Action Line on 0800 044 044. That's 0800 044 044, and those calls are free and confidential.